Back in '06, though, there was one thing that is stuck in my memory was the FBC pageant. I don't know if you remember
Ah,
that.
I do.
So you put together basically a long play for all the Bible Club kids to take part in. And I
Yes.
remember the specific moment when we had to have a casting change, and you pointed at me in front of the whole class and you're like, okay, we're going to get you to play Jesus. I was just sitting there like, okay, no worries. I think I was 9 at the time.
Wow.
How did you deal with that many kids and trying to put a program like that together? Because I look back at that and I look at the kids now and I think, how did she do it?
Honestly, I had so much help. What we did, I haven't thought of that day and that pageant for so many years. But I remember we basically split up all the major scenes of the Bible from literally Genesis, as you remember, through to Christ and death, burial, resurrection, and through to his return. And what we did was we allocated the scenes, and there was a teacher allocated to each scene. So it was a lot of help, and all the guys came on board to help with the lighting, and the women came and helped with the props. Even the mothers were helping to sew. So it was it was literally the whole church was behind it. I put together the script and it was just so much fun. Again, that's another example of the kind of thing that you can do in your single years. I actually do remember I was working at the time and literally was dealing with things in my lunch break, before and after work. It was intense towards the end, but it was just so rewarding.
What was that? What was the length of that process? How long was it from inception to?
A while, at least, definitely months. I can't exactly remember, but I know that towards the end there were so many little details you had to get right in order for it to go well. And remember that beautiful song, and we had the cross. Did you come down? Was it you on the cross that you were carrying the cross down the aisle up to the stage? That was amazing.
You don't have the video, do you?
I don't, but I would love to see it.
I'm gonna send it to you.
No way.
I've got a copy of it. It's on my phone right now, actually. Anytime I need to cringe, I just look back at that.
Or audition for a place.
Yeah, pretty much, right? But that, like we said, is a lot of work. It's a big thing. I think I remember us practicing every Thursday night for months on end.
Yes.
And we were staying there late too. So for kids, I was just sort of like, well, it's a big thing to get families and everyone committed into. What is the biggest challenge for anyone trying to join a children's ministry, do you think, as being that example for kids and also prepping lessons, things like that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to make sure that your cup is full, spiritually. You can't be a teacher and just kind of go off materials and kind of pick up the manual or the book that you're teaching from with your children, because they can see through that. I think you need to live out the word of God. You need to make sure that you are full so that from that fountain, it's coming out. And I think it's very important that you genuinely love those kids and pray for the kids. Pray for them specifically, understand what's going on in their lives, because often they'll share things and that's your responsibility. If they open their heart and share something, that's your responsibility to pray for them and to be a blessing. And I suppose not take that responsibility lightly. I think being an example is critical. You can't just switch on during kids ministry and switch off. I think that there are some sacrifices you need to make in any leadership position. It's a privilege to be a leader, but it's also a very big responsibility. And I think personally, God allowed me to feel that. I felt that always, that there are certain places or things that I can do that I might be completely free and at liberty to do, but for the sake of young people who are looking up to you, I'm willing to sacrifice that, or I ought to be willing to sacrifice that, because it is a responsibility. So I suppose it's not to deter anyone or make it sound really hard or to make it sound like I've arrived in this area. I think it's a lifelong thing. But I think that's the beautiful thing of the teachers that I knew growing up, that I looked up to so much, were such good examples that spurred me on to want to be a teacher and to be an example.
And I think it's something that I constantly say, and I think people get sick of me saying it, but anytime someone joins a kids ministry, I always say that you're a teacher outside of the room before you are inside of the room. Because when I look back at my Bible club or Epic years even, the one thing that I remember are the relationships I had with my teachers and not the lessons they taught.
Yeah.
I personally, I believe the lessons are a byproduct of the impact that we're having on kids. And that's huge to them. And that's going to be the thing that lasts in their memory.
And kids are clever. And you're right, they remember things. I will remember specific lessons. It amazes me that I can still remember specific lessons on specific topics with my teachers. So, and they're clever. And I think kids, not the really little ones, but a lot of kids are on social media and they're seeing everything. I think that there's no point trying to live separate lives. I think just go all out for the Lord, and He will bless that ministry.